Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we're talking about if a drill really needs 36 volts. That's right, this drill right here from Metabo HPT is on their multi-volt lineup, making it a 36 volt hammer drill driver. We're gonna go over this tool top to bottom, see how it stacks up against the other 36 volt drill driver and other 18 volt drills. So stick with us. All right, you guys, like I mentioned earlier, this right here is the Metabo HPT multi-volt half-inch hammer drill driver. It's brushless. Model number DV36DAQ4. Wow, I mean, come on, man. Just check out those model numbers there. Try saying that really fast. Anyways, like I mentioned earlier, this runs on their multi-volt platform, making it a 36 volt tool. To my knowledge, there's only one other 36 volt tool. That's going to be the Makita XGT half-inch hammer drill driver. Some people are going to say it's a 40 volt tool. It's really a 40 volt max, making it really a 36 volt tool. So let's just talk about the batteries then. You know, they have the same number of cells in series configuration. It's pretty much, you know, in the same class, let's say. So we're going to go over, run through a bunch of tests and see how it really stacks up. But like I mentioned, because it's a multi-volt tool, you cannot use their 18 volt batteries on this tool, but you can use the batteries that come with this drill if you buy it as a kit on 18 volt tools, backwards compatible, almost like flex volt, right? So before we get too far into it, let's go look at the marketing hype and then we'll bring it in closer and take a better look at it. So this right here is a 36 volt brushless half-inch hammer drill driver from Metabo. It is a cordless hammer drill driver that features a metal belt hook. It can be powered by either battery or power cord. If you buy the power cord, I can't imagine someone buying a cordless tool and then buying a power cord to use on a cordless tool. It just defeats the purpose. It has enough power to power through pretty much anything you task it to. It has up to 1,220 inch-pounds of torque with 2,100 RPMs and 31,500 beats per minute in hammer drill driver mode. It has 22 torque settings, a drill mode, a hammer drill mode to properly match your settings for your application. It has what they call RFC, that's what they call reactive force control, which senses the tool overload and stops rotation to ensure the user safety and protect the motor and battery, okay? It's got backwards compatibility like we already talked about and all that kind of fun stuff. It does have a half-inch keyless metal chuck with carbide inserts for quick and simple bit replacements and secure holding power. We're going to drill into that in just a little bit. It's got a responsive variable speed trigger which provides complete control during application. It's got an LED light that effectively illuminates dark workspaces. It is covered by their standard lithium ion tool body warranty. If you buy it as a kit, you know, you can kind of get the 2-year lithium ion battery warranty, and for some reason the charger is only warranted for 1 year, okay? Which is kind of strange if you think about it, mainly because the batteries will usually wear out, so you would expect, you know, something like that's consumable like a battery to have a lower warranty, but in this case the charger has a 1-year warranty and a battery has 2-year warranty, so good for the consumer. All right, you guys, so let's take a look at this stuff here real quick. Obviously, these are the batteries. Like I said, these are 36 volt batteries. You can use them in 18 volt tools. At 18 volts, it kind of just doubles the amp hour, right? So this one right here is a 2.5 amp hour battery in a multi-volt tool. So if you drop it to a 18 volt, it becomes a 5 amp hour battery. This one right here is a 4 amp hour battery multi-volt battery, or 4 amp hour multi-volt battery and an 8 amp hour 18 volt battery, okay? So that's what's really going on there, okay? So this comes with this handle, and this is a pretty long handle. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Makita XPH07 handle, one that was made really long, and there's a good reason for this being really long. I mean, obviously, the longer it is, the more you know, stability you're going to be able to get because it's not so short. You get a lot of leverage, right? So we'll talk about this handle here real quick. So this handle actually screws into the body of the tool. We'll talk about that in a second. But right here is where you would buy, if you did a lot of hammer drilling with this tool, you would buy like a depth stopped kit, right? That you would insert like a little bolt here, and then that little bolt would, you know, lock that depth gauge rod up in there. It does not come with that as a part of the kit. You do have to buy that one separately, but did want to point that out, okay? If you notice right here, it does have, I'm not sure how well it's going to come out. It's a little I forgot what they call it. I'm going to just call it like dadoed out or whatnot. So it's kind of like flat. The main reason for that is mainly because if you are tightening it down, right, you could take like a wrench or something to tighten it really hard, or if you just tighten it too hard and you loosen it, you can do it that way. But that's why they put that little detail there, all right? So the way that this inserts on this tool, it is bi-directional, I guess if you want to call it. You can insert it here or here. But the way to do it is you take, you know, this little cover off. You know, it's nice that they put a little cover there so it doesn't get filled up with dirt. But I'm going to tell you right now, it comes off pretty easily, so take it with a grain of salt. So you drop this in here, right, and you just turn it until it screws into all the way the body of the tool until there is no more, right, of that space left. So here you go. This is what it looks like when it's, you know, pretty much all the way in. It's going to go in something like this. You can also take this out and put it on this side, right? It just has to do a little bit of, you know, take it out and put it in. But other than that, this is actually really good. I do like this design just a little bit better than I think some of the other designs that are out there. You know, there's some designs out there that only clip on to like the top half, which is not really secure. I've actually broken at least 2 of those before. DeWalt kind of has one that goes all the way around, you know, that ring there. That one works okay. You know, obviously their handle could afford to be a little bit longer. But this one actually screws in to this metal body right here, which is pretty secure. The downside to that is, you know, if for some reason you end up breaking this off, there's probably going to be a chunk missing of, you know, your gear body of the drill, right? So, but I can't imagine that really breaking down because this stuff here is really hard. I mean, it is a, you know, heavy duty hammer drill driver. So just keep that in mind. So now that we got all that kind of jimmy jammer out the way, let's go ahead and talk about this. Obviously, this is the left-hand side, you know, if you're holding the drill. All this black stuff here is rubber overmolded, and it is a lot more grippier or more rubberized or more softer, I would say, than other tools. I would say probably it's a little bit softer than the DeWalt stuff. It seems to be a little bit more stickier. A lot of stuff generally tends to stick to it. It's softer than the Milwaukee stuff, but yeah, I would say it's probably pretty much the softest rubberized stuff going on there. Anyways, that stuff is there. This is a metal belt hook that comes with it. You can reverse it and put it on this side if you did want to. Other than that, you know, it's going to say Metabo HPT brushless here. And, you know, just in case you didn't know your tool was brushless, they're going to put it there in multiple spots, okay? While we're here, let's go ahead and talk about this for reverse switch. It's pretty standard, nothing too much going on there. Here's the variable speed trigger. I'll show you that in just a little bit as we get around to it, but all that stuff here, you know, it's pretty standard, okay? Obviously right here it's going to say this is a hammer drill driver, right? So moving on to the back here, you know, brushless here, fall rest system, like if you're going to click some kind of lanyard system type there, that's there. But other than that, this back part here is pretty flat. On this right side, it's pretty much almost exactly the same thing, just without as much marketing hype going on there, right? So top up here, you have, you know, this is on high or speed 2. This is on low, speed 1, okay? Nothing too frills going on there. On this one, it does have one collar ring to control them all, right? So here is, you know, clutch setting 1, and this is a manual clutch, if you want to call it that, right? And you can go to, you know, past, every once in a while it'll get stuck and I can't get it past 22. So that's probably a great example right there on me not being able to get it past there, right? So there you go. Nope, still can't get it back there. All right, well, some reason, somehow I've already broken this and I cannot get the clutch mode setting past 22 in order to get it to drill mode, so be right back. Well, anyways, no matter what I did, I was not able to get this clutch ring all the way over to drill and hammer drill mode. That's going to be interesting because I'm going to have to figure out how to warranty this thing, especially since, you know, haven't used it that heavily. I mean, obviously, not abused. But anyways, long story short, that's how it's supposed to work. I mean, that's not how it's supposed to work. You should be able to rotate all the way over to the drill mode and hammer drill mode. For some reason, on this one right now, you cannot. So that's a problem. Let's talk about the front here. So as you can see here, there is an LED light right here. This part right here, it says multi-volt. You know, I feel like it's supposed to do something. I thought it was supposed to be magnetic, so I tried putting like bits there or even screws there. It is not. All it is an emblem that says it's multi-volt. This is not magnetic by any means. So here is the chuck, okay? And if this chuck looks familiar, it's because it's the same chuck, I believe, that is on the DeWalt DCD99 8, I think, and 7 or 996 and the 999. Let me see if I can grab that one here real quick. So this right here is a DCD 996. The 998, I believe, and the 999 pretty much have exactly the same chuck. But this one right here is 996, and as you can see, the chuck is exactly the same. If you look at the down in the details, it is the same chuck. So the good thing about this chuck, I mean, I can just tell you from experience of using this drill a lot, is that you know, it holds pretty well. These tips right here are supposed to be carbide insert. I don't really have any issues with that. I mean, this stuff holds really well. The knurling has held up pretty well, even though we rubbed it against a lot of stuff. So I have no concerns about this chuck. But, you know, as we already saw earlier, going to have some concerns about this collar ring. I mean, that's what's really going on here. Let's see if I can show you the variable speed trigger. It is generally pretty responsive. Here we'll start with low. Check this out. Here we go. All right, we'll go to high. Here we go. So the variable speed trigger is very responsive, it is really smooth, and it is really nice. Let's see if I can show you a little bit about the clutch settings here. So the clutch settings, as you would expect from almost, you know, heavy duty half-inch hammer drill driver, are not necessarily the most sensitive, as you already know this. All right, so this right here is just, you know, stack of just some random dimensional lumber here. Let's see if we can show you some details, right? So let's take this bit here, we'll put it on mode 1, right? Or clutch setting 1 on low. Here's what it looks like. See, it'll stop right there, and that's on mode setting 1. So I know a lot of y'all are gonna say, you know, well, blah, 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 you know, it's a half-inch hammer drill driver. So just to give you some general idea, this right here is a subcompact Makita model number ep.11. Obviously, I use this one quite a bit. So this one I use a lot for delicate work, mainly because, you know, it handles delicate work pretty well, and it is fairly small and fairly light. So let's take this one, mode setting 1, clutch setting 1, and we'll see if we can show you a difference here. All right, here we go. Right? So clutch setting 1, obviously that's going to be a huge difference between this one and this one. Most, like I mentioned earlier, most of the big half-inch hammer drill drivers, their clutches modes aren't that sensitive. But you're most likely not going to be, you know, be doing a lot of delicate work with big half-inch hammer drill drivers. So I mean, you can give, you know, give it some. Take that with a grain of salt if you want, but anyways, that's what's really going on with that. So like I mentioned, all this stuff is going on here, nothing too interesting, no frills, no thrills. The bottom part of this is pretty standard, as you would expect from a Hitachi Metabo HPT tool, but this got no rubberized stuff to absorb any vibrations from the hammer drilling if you were to get that going. So without too much further ado, let's get into some of the tests, and then we'll come back around with the numbers. All right, you guys, so we did run all the tests before shooting any of these clips. So we were able to run the test, and as you saw in the test, some of those numbers did not go by as quickly as you thought they would. So let's go ahead and take a recap. So this Multivolt 36V DV36DAQ4 drill, we first ran with this 2.5 amp hour battery here, right? And on the 5/16 inch by 6 inch lag test, first run, 2.32 seconds. Second run, 2.02 seconds. Third run, 1.98 seconds. It was able to do that on speed 2. The average of 3 runs comes out to 2.11 seconds. The average of the torque numbers comes out to about 137 inch-pounds. The 1/2 inch by 8 inch lag test, the heavier duty test, right? First run 7.00 seconds, second run 7.27 seconds, third run 6.88 seconds. It did have to do that on speed 1, could not do it on speed 2. The average comes out to 7.05 seconds, okay? The average torque number for that test comes out to about 377.67 inch-pounds, all right? Moving on to the 3/4 inch auger test. We drilled 2 holes with a 3/4 inch auger. First run 5.12 seconds, second run 4.98 seconds. It was able to do that on speed 2, so the average comes out to about 5.05 seconds, all right? So, and then we move on to the masonry test. So on the masonry test, first run 6.67, second run 4.73, third run 5.35. Average comes out to 5.35 seconds. So the peak torque number that we got, from all the tests that we ran so far comes out to about 427 inch-pounds, which, obviously seems to be a lot. So take it with a grain of salt. So this combination right here, this 2.5 amp hour multi-volt battery in this drill comes in weighing at a whopping 5 pounds, 4.6 ounces. So obviously it's not light, right? But there are heavier setups out there, right? Like for instance, the Milwaukee Gen 3 fuel with the 12 amp hour battery. Yeah, that's pretty hefty. Anyways, so now let's move on to, this drill with this multi-volt battery, which is the 4 amp hour battery, right? So going on the 5/16 inch by 6 inch lag test, first run 2.27, second run 2.18, third run 2.10. It did do it on speed 2, and the average comes out to 2.18 seconds, all right? The peak torque number, or the average of the torque numbers for that test comes out to about 131 inch-pounds. Moving on to the 1/2 inch by 8 inch lag test. First run 7.77, second run 6.9, third run 6.85. I did have to still do it on speed 1, and the average of the 3 runs comes out to 7.17 seconds with a torque average of 428 inch-pounds. All right. Moving on to the 3/4 inch auger test. First run. 5.13, second run 5.07, did do it on speed 2, average come out to 5.10 seconds, all right? So, moving on to the masonry test, first run 4.57, second run 4.63, third run 5.7, the average comes out to about 4.97 seconds. So the peak torque that we saw running all those tests comes in around 535 inch-pounds, and this combination right here weighs almost 6 pounds. It weighs in around 5 pounds, 14.4 ounces, all right? So let's go take a look at the peak performance number. How do we get that? We take the sum of the 3 averages, meaning the 5/16 inch lag, the 1/2 inch lag, and the 3/4 inch auger. We do not include the masonry test in the peak performance number. Some people are going to ask why. It's mainly because not all the drills we test are going to be hammered drill drivers. And like I always tell you, if you're doing a lot of masonry work, you're probably going to have an SDS or some type of drill like that, okay? But we do take those numbers just to see how, the hammered drill performance goes. So this 2.5 amp hour battery had a total performance score of 14.21 seconds. And this 4 amp hour battery had a total performance score of 14.46 seconds. Bam. Before we go look at where that really ends up on leaderboard, let's talk about that, all right? So 4.21 and 4.46, are fairly close. You would technically expect the bigger battery to do better. I'm just going to go out and say, it's all within the margin of error. We're talking about 0.25 seconds, okay? Yes, that's a big difference if you're running a NASCAR race or something like that. But, in this case, it's really all, margin of error mainly because even though we're using the same wood, new bits, new all this kind of stuff, it's the material may be somewhat of a difference. And let's go talk talk about the biggest number difference, right? So 4.21 to 4.46 is obviously still not that big of a difference for a battery going from 2.5 to 4.0, right? That's pretty much a 1.5 amp hour difference, right? So we'll talk about that. Actually, let's talk about that right now. So the main reason I believe that that's happening is mainly because this right here is a 36 volt tool, okay? And power is pretty much voltage and the amps, you know, combined gives you actually output or watts, right? So because this tool is running at a higher voltage, it doesn't necessarily need as many amps to generate that power, right? So the biggest difference you're going to see is, you know, you don't need to draw as many amps, meaning the battery size isn't going to matter as much on a higher voltage tool. Whereas, you know, on a lower voltage tool, let's take the M18 for example, there's going to be a huge difference between, you know, let's say close to this like a 3 amp hour high output battery versus something like this. Let's just call it like a 5 amp hour battery, you know, high output series. Actually, they don't have that. So 6 amp hour high output series, right? There's going to be a bigger difference there. But in this case, you're only going to see that difference here on the masonry test is where we saw that. So let's go ahead and figure out where it stands up on the leaderboard, right? So the 2.5 amp hour battery with the 4.21 actually comes in 9th place, right behind the Milwaukee Gen 3 fuel, which is a 2804, with a high output 8 amp hour high output battery, which is 13.95. And then this combination right here that we've tested with the 4 amp hour battery comes in on 11th place, right behind the DCD 999 with the flex 20 volt flex which is 20 volt flex volt advantage drill using a 5 amp hour battery, okay, which had 14.41, right? So if you look at the order, it goes, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, or 9 is this, right? 10 is a DCD 999, and the 11 is this combination right here. Like I said, margin of error and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's go ahead and close this video out. What can we say about this tool? Between some of the breaks and stuff that we were doing, we were able to fix the collar ring, so now it does go back between, you know, drill and hammer drill and all those other settings. So that actually was able to work. It didn't have to warranty that, thank goodness, because I hate warranting anything. The process is just painful, okay? And, you know, downtime and stuff. Obviously, you can use some other stuff, but anyways, you know, for a company that says durability first, I would expect something, you know, that critical, like a clutch ring, to be, you know, something of, you know, high quality. You would expect it to work all the time. So anyways, what can we say? I mean, it's a good drill, like I said. We've used it a little bit before, you know, making this review video and running all those tests and stuff. We generally use the tools for at least a couple weeks before we review them to, you know, kind of get a lot more hands-on experience. The good thing I'm going to say about this is it kind of has a good refinement feeling to it, right? Like, let's take, for example, if I run this on low and I go full, let's put it on, you know, just random. The speed doesn't really adjust with the clutch setting, but let's just have it on, you know, clutch mode 22, right? On low, there is a little bit slightly delayed there, right? Watch this. It's barely delayed there. But let's go to high, right? Check this out. Low, right? Just the sound of that drill and just using it over time, it does have that. The other thing to note is that they have what they call reactive force control. So when you're using it and like kicks over, right, it's supposed to stop off, right? It doesn't actually do that. I'm not going to do that too much because, you know, then it ends up hurting your wrist. But it doesn't work too well, if that even makes sense. I'm sorry, it's just really late. It's been a long day. So that's what's really going on with that. Would I go out and buy this drill again? At its current retail price, I don't think I personally would. We did go out and buy this tool. Nobody sent it, so it's not sponsored, but we were able to secure this tool for right around $99-ish, right? In this current combination. So if you can buy this tool at that price, or if not lower because it's on clearance, then I'll definitely pick this up because it is a great, awesome tool for about that price. And it comes as a kit, right? It comes with 2.5 amp hour batteries, not this 4 amp hour battery. And it comes with the case. So that's what we can really do. If you're in the Metabo HPT lineup, yes, I'll probably definitely get this drill versus, you know, the 18 volt drill, because the multi-volt batteries and just running at a higher voltage obviously gives you advantages that you won't have at an 18 volt battery, right? But this is going to be my first choice of drill to go to on, you know, heavier duty stuff that I've been doing. Yeah, probably not really. The other good thing about this, you know, they call it durability first. I don't have to worry about it, you know, yeah, I don't really generally worry about, you know, tools breaking down too much. But all right, we're already jibber jabbering too long, so let's go ahead and close this thing out. You know, all that stuff, like I said, take it with a grain of salt. I'm just here to show you numbers, so you know, if you want to figure out how the tools stack up in the performance rating, go ahead and buy that. But as I always tell you in almost all the videos, the performance numbers are just numbers, okay? Nobody really goes out saying, oh, I really need the fastest drill to get the job done about, you know, 5 seconds faster or a minute faster over the day, or I don't know, 10 minutes faster over the period of a day, bam, 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 and they don't do that, right? You're gonna have to find a tool that works for you, that feels right, battery platform you're in, whatever it is that you need. The numbers here are only here to tell you the stacking of performance, you know, across all the kinds of tools that we've tested so far. So, like I said, if you had any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a great day. Go build something awesome and do good work, and we'll see you guys next time.